Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, PDAC 2018. It's the third day and we are in the late afternoon now, and we found again a terrific company, Mabel Gold Mines. You remember we already spoke with Matthew Hornor, the CEO, last year here. I think it was like late October, November. And yeah, a lot of good things happened. They did a great resource update and the drills are turning. So we want to get an update from the company. And here you see to my right side, Matthew Hornor, the CEO. And we have David Broughton, who is the co-chairman of the technical committee. So he's the real guy behind all the drilling ideas and the geological models. He's the brain of the exploration, and fantastic to get an update from the guys. So Matthew, welcome. David, welcome.
Johan, it's great to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you guys, and I'm really happy to see you also the first time personally. The resource update, you did very well, I would say, and maybe you can elaborate a bit on that.
Yeah, the resource update went out the first week, I think, in February, just a few weeks ago. And we thought it important to include the 23,000 meters that were drilled last season, but had not yet been included in the resource. So we updated that to show that more gold was found in that drilling campaign last year. Specifically, we moved about 500,000 ounces into the indicated category.
And that's really important.
At 1.5 grams per ton, at a 0.45 cutoff.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that Canadian Malarctic is, I think, 0.35. And in the inferred category, we're about 2.8 million. So all in, we went from 2.8 to 3.2 and change. And this really sets the stage for what's coming next. We're doing a split of about 60-40 on expanding the known resource area and looking outside the resource area for new discovery potential. Yeah. Dr. Broughton on my right will, in a minute, go into some of the targets we're looking at, why we're excited about them in a second. So I'll leave that to him. But the update really was to properly set the stage for where we are now and where we're going into the future, and really on a firm base that includes what we did last year.
Fantastic.
So I thought that was important to do that for the market.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I think we can see then also quite soon another resource update, right? Maybe in the summer already.
Yeah, well,
you think that's possible?
The drills are turning today.
Yeah.
We have 6 total. A few of them are already there turning as of January 16th. More are on their way to what is my favorite target, the northeast Syenite zone, which Dave will speak to in a minute. So it's all going, and assuming we get the assays back in time after the drill program completes, sometime in April and May, then yes, of course, we'll look for another resource update.
Super, perfect. Before we come to the exploration then and what you are targeting, what is money in the bank, because that costs all a lot?
Yeah, we're looking at just around $5 million in the bank. Last year we did a raise of 10 in June, so we're in a great shape from a cash position still, and away we go. You know, we're where we want to be.
Super, great. Yeah. So maybe you hand the mic over, please. So let's talk about the exploration. What's coming up? How many meters you want to drill, and what is, let's say, the model behind in your mind?
Well, we've got, as Matthew's saying, we've got a couple of drills turning and more on the way. The split is about 60-40 between what we would call brownfields, which is really, there are a lot of areas between some of the satellite deposits around the very large porphyry zone that do not have drill holes between that and them and the porphyry zone. So we see a real opportunity to fill in, if you will. It's not really fill in. Yeah. It's more like, you know, there's a several 100-meter gap or more, and there's an opportunity to connect the things, which obviously works from a resource standpoint, also works from an eventual mining standpoint to connect all of those things.
Absolutely.
So that's an important sort of series of targets, really, and one of the drills is working on that now. And then the other drill that's currently turning is heading up to Matthew's favorite target. So as you know, the central zone is a intrusion-hosted gold, you know, similar to Malarctic and Young-Davidson and a number of other things around the Abitibi windfall. And there's a whole new target area out to the northeast that shows up on the magnetics and on some very early preliminary mapping that only has one drill hole in it.
Wow.
And
but there's room for surprises.
And it's the same size or bigger in strike length as the existing known intrusion-hosted porphyry-style mineralization. So that's a huge upside for us. And so there are probably a dozen holes planned in that area. That's probably the most significant of the grassroots, what I would call grassroots step-outs.
How deep you are drilling normally then in average?
Oh, it varies a lot. I mean, some of the holes would be, you know, sort of hundreds of meters deep down to maybe 5, 6. It just depends on the target. You know, there are places where Fred's identified zones of mineralization in older deep holes that never got followed up, and so you're drilling beside those, and some of those are deeper. It varies a lot around the project.
Great. And also, as this is a really large old mining or exploration area, I would call it, I think I saw on the photos how you inspected some old core, right? So how many meters of old core do you have, and what could you learn from that?
Well, it's I'm just looking at photographs there on the video. There is over 200,000 meters of 200 kilometers, 220 kilometers, I think, of old core. It's all very well archived. That's just an enormous resource, you know. To go and have to re-drill that at today's prices, I mean, just setting aside the time to do it, you know, it's just a huge positive for us. And not only from understanding the geology, you can go back and look at things again and, you know, come up with new interpretations and opportunities. You can re-assay in ways that weren't done before and generate data that way. It's a huge resource, and it's very well archived and in good condition right on site.
That's very important.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you go to these old sites and the core's been thrown away or the boxes have rotted because they weren't looked after. That's not the case here.
Okay, wow, perfect. Do you want to digitize all that stuff also? Let's say that you start to make a computer model out of that. Is
Definitely.
that possible?
That's a big part of what you do. You know, well, there's a relogging program that was completed on the critical parts of that archive. There are still some things we'd like to do, but by relogging the core and doing it in a systematic way with the, you know, the original discoveries were in the late 70s. And so you can imagine how many people over the years logged different campaigns. And so every geologist has different eyes, you know, sometimes even one geologist can have different eyes.
Absolutely.
And so it's really important to standardize all of that and have it looked at by a consistent team. You know, and you can't do that obviously if you don't have the core. So that's a big part of what's been happening on site in terms of consolidating and rethinking and generating new ideas and targets.
Yeah, great, fantastic. I mean, as you have a very long history in your job as a geologist, and you are quite famous, you had a lot of good discoveries and stuff. What is your feeling if you look at the property by today? Can we talk about something, let's say 5 million ounces plus in the future maybe? Is that a possibility? Do you see? Of course, it has to be proven. That's no question.
Of course, it's a possibility.
But,
you know, I mean, the project already has more than 3 million ounces
exactly.
that's defined, and we're moving ounces into the indicated category at a higher confidence level. And I think that, you know, clearly that can continue and will continue, and all of that is within a pretty small part of the license area. You know, it's 50 kilometers of strike along a very productive break. You know, and a lot of it is covered, so you can't use, you know, sort of traditional, sort of, I would say simple, if you will, or conventional exploration approaches with sampling the soils and so on. You've got to drill, you know, and so there's, you know, 40 of the 50 kilometers has really not been all that well explored. And you know, when you look around the district, that structure has all sorts of other kinds of gold deposits on it. You know, Casa Berardi is a very different style of mineralization, you know, and other things too. And so when you look in the district, you think, well, you know, why does it just have to be intrusion-hosted gold? You know, there's no reason why there couldn't be other styles of mineralization hidden under that cover. So I think there are a lot of opportunities to increase the eventual resource size, not only, as I said, by, you know, expanding in and around the known area, but by going and stepping out and looking for new things. And part of that is what we're doing at the Syenite zone. So yeah, I think there's
a good chance, good opportunity.
There's a lot of upside.
Fantastic, great. Maybe you hand that back shortly to Matthew. Matthew, of course, that comes to my one question to my mind now, when I hear all that, it looks to me like, well, you have a fantastic property, that's no question, yeah? You have the right technical team, you have the right guys on site, the drills are turning. And I've interviewed a lot of mid-tier gold producers, also the larger ones, the Agnico Eagles, etc., Yamana. And to me, it's a little bit of the feeling everybody is searching for ounces now. Because since the financial crisis, we have lost 5 years of exploration. Yeah, there was no money for exploration. Now this is kicking in. So maybe, when are you on the radar?
I would say we're already on the radar. I mean, we have the major institutions in Canada now starting to cover us. GMP put out a nice piece. Canaccord did as well.
I think also, right?
Echelon just yesterday, it's down there.
Yeah.
And we were in the Globe and Mail, national newspaper, just today. So people are starting to take notice of what we're up to, because we're trying to create the next big Canadian gold story here. We're not trying to do something small. We're trying to do a district scale gold story for Canada.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you know, we take it seriously that we're Canadians.
Yeah, perfect.
We're proud of that. So so the majors already starting to take notice, and you know, it's all ounces are not created equal.
Yeah,
3 or 4 or 5 or 6 million ounces in Quebec, Canada is far different than 10 million ounces or 5 million ounces even in, for example, places like Africa, the DRC, difficult, more challenging jurisdictions. So when Kinross or IM Gold or Goldcorp or any of those companies are looking around to say, where would we like to put our investment dollars? I would say Abitibi in our region is a pretty attractive option for them.
Super.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, guys. That was a really compelling statement here. I really like it, and to keep fingers crossed for your drill program. And we want to see very good results, and soon, honestly.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Johan.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. David Broughton, the co-chair of the technical committee, and also Matthew Hornor, who is the CEO of Maple Gold Mines. And you heard it, the drills are turning. That's the first important thing. And secondly, also we talk about a super large land package, 50 kilometers in strike, and they just updated their resource, even enlarged it, and what is even more important, over 450,000 ounces were moved again in the indicated category, and this is how you build mines in the future. And I'm pretty sure David and Matthew, they're gonna make it, so watch out for the company, check it out for good news in the future. Thanks for watching us. Bye bye from Toronto.